Admiral Korthvel leaned back in his command throne, watching the massive holographic projections floating before him. The human homeworld, Earth, burned in spectacular fashion across multiple screens. Cities crumbled under orbital bombardment, their pathetic defense grids sparking out like dying insects. Well, he chuckled, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction. Look at that beautiful sight. The mighty humans reduced to ash and rubble. His second-in-command, Captain Zernine, approached with what could only be described as a swagger. Sir, our forces report complete orbital superiority. The human military has been, how do they say it? Oh yes, utterly demolished. Korthvel's 4 eyes gleamed with malicious joy. Demolished? Huh, that's being generous, Captain. I'd say they have been completely obliterated, wiped from existence, turned into cosmic dust. Around the bridge of the massive dreadnought, Worldbreaker, crew members from across the Galactic Coalition cheered. Reptilian saurians hissed their approval, while the insectoid mantics clicked their approval in rhythmic patterns. Even the usually stoic crystalloid warriors allowed themselves brief moments of celebration. Attention, all ships, Korthvel announced across the fleet communications. Today marks the end of human expansion. No more will these upstart mammals threaten our territories, steal our resources, or dare to challenge the natural order of the galaxy. The response was immediate and thunderous. Thousands of warships, from sleek destroyers to massive battle cruisers, erupted in celebratory weapons fire. Plasma beams painted the void in brilliant colors while particle cannons traced geometric patterns against the star field. But Captain Zernine, ever the cautious sort, frowned at his tactical displays. Admiral, I'm detecting something odd. Old Korthvel's good mood faltered slightly. Define odd, Captain. Are there survivors? Resistance pockets? Hidden bases we missed? No, sir, nothing like that. Zernine manipulated his console, bringing up long-range sensor data. It's just, there are ships approaching. Lots of them. Ships. The Admiral's voice took on a dangerous edge. What kind of ships? Military vessels? Some kind of last-ditch human counterattack. Zernine's expression grew increasingly puzzled. That's just it, sir. They are not military vessels. According to our databases, they are civilian craft. Freighters, passenger liners, mining vessels, cargo haulers, basically everything except warships. Korthvel burst into laughter so violent that several bridge officers jumped. Civilian ships? Civilian ships? Oh, this is rich. The humans are so desperate, they are sending their space truckers and tour guides to fight us. The bridge erupted in similar laughter. The idea was so absurd, so pathetically desperate, that even the most battle-hardened warriors couldn't contain their amusement. How many of these merchant marine heroes are we talking about? Korthvel asked, wiping tears from his primary eyes. Current count shows approximately 15,000 vessels, sir, and more are arriving every minute. 15,000. The Admiral slapped his knee with such force it echoed through the bridge. Oh, this day just keeps getting better. First we crush Earth's military, and now we get target practice with their delivery boys. Commander Yexterez, the fleet's tactical coordinator, approached with a datapad. Sir, should we begin engaging these civilian vessels? They are moving into weapons range. Engaging. Korthvel looked incredulous. Commander, these are unarmed merchant ships. It wouldn't be a battle. It would be a massacre. A turkey shoot. A complete slaughter. So yes, sir. The Admiral's grin widened. Oh, absolutely yes. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you challenge the Coalition. Open fire on those pathetic excuses for spacecraft. The order rippled through the fleet like wildfire. Thousands of weapons systems came online, targeting computers locked onto the approaching civilian vessels. Energy readings spiked across the Coalition armada as they prepared to deliver what everyone expected to be the final blow to human resistance. Sir, came a voice from the communication station. We are receiving a transmission from the lead civilian vessel. Put it through, Korthvel commanded, barely able to contain his glee. I want to hear them beg. The main screen flickered, revealing a middle-aged human woman with graying hair and laugh lines around her eyes. She wore what appeared to be a simple ship captain's uniform, nothing fancy or military about it. "Greetings," she said with an almost casual tone. "I'm Captain Lisa Wang of the merchant vessel Honest Prophet. We couldn't help but notice you have made quite a mess of our home." Korthvel leaned forward, his voice dripping with mock sympathy. "Oh, how tragic. Did we interrupt your little space trucking route? Perhaps damage some of your precious cargo?" Captain Wang's expression didn't change. "Actually, you have done us quite the favor. You see, we have been hauling some rather specialized cargo lately. Military surplus, you might call it. Military surplus." The Admiral's tone shifted slightly. Something about the human's calm demeanor was beginning to unnerve him. "What kind of military surplus?" "Oh, Wang said with a shrug. "The usual stuff. Decommissioned weapon systems, retired defense platforms, obsolete targeting computers. Really boring technical equipment that nobody wants anymore." Zurnine's tactical display began showing new readings. "Sir, I'm detecting massive energy buildups from the civilian vessels." "This doesn't make sense," Captain Wang smiled, and for the first time, there was something predatory in her expression. "The thing about military surplus, Admiral, is that obsolete doesn't necessarily mean non-functional. It just means we found something better." Suddenly, the space around the civilian fleet erupted in light. What had appeared to be innocent cargo containers began unfolding like deadly flowers, revealing weapon arrays that made even the Coalition's finest look primitive. Mining vessels extended drill arrays that sparked with contained plasma. Passenger liners opened ports along their hulls, exposing rows of missile tubes. "What in the seven hells?" Kortvel whispered. "You see," Captain Wang continued conversationally, "humans have a rather unique approach to warfare. We don't just build military ships. We build ships that can become military when needed. Every freighter with modular cargo capacity, every mining vessel with industrial-grade cutting tools, every passenger liner with redundant life support systems." The Coalition's tactical computers were screaming warnings now. Energy signatures that had read as civilian power cores were spiking to military-grade levels. Ships that had appeared unarmed were suddenly bristling with enough firepower to level continents. "But this is impossible," Kortvel sputtered. "Our intelligence networks, our reconnaissance. We have been monitoring human shipping for decades." Captain Wang's smile grew wider. "Oh, you have. And we have been very careful to show you exactly what we wanted you to see. Did you really think a species that conquered their own planet through warfare would leave their merchant fleet defenseless? That we'd spread across the galaxy without learning from every mistake, every ambush, every surprise attack?" Commander Yex Torres was frantically working his console. "Sir, these aren't just armed civilian vessels. They're showing military-grade shielding, coordinated attack patterns, synchronized targeting systems. This is a full battle fleet disguised as merchant shipping." "Disguised?" Wang looked offended. "Commander, I'm Hurt. These are merchant vessels. They just happen to have very, very good security systems. You'd be amazed what you can legally classify as defensive measures when you are creative with paperwork." The lead elements of the civilian fleet began their attack run. What had seemed like a ragtag collection of space haulers now moved with military precision, executing complex maneuvers that would challenge professional naval squadrons. "Return fire," Kortvel roared. "All ships, return fire immediately." The Coalition fleet responded, thousands of weapons systems opening up on the approaching humans. Plasma beams and particle cannons lit up space like a deadly light show. But something was wrong. Their shots were being deflected, absorbed, scattered by defensive systems that shouldn't exist on civilian craft. "Status report," the Admiral demanded. "Sir, their defensive capabilities are off the charts. These ships have military-grade armor disguised as cargo pods, point defense systems hidden in communications arrays, electronic warfare suites built into navigation equipment." Captain Wang appeared to be consulting a clipboard. "Let's see. Honest Prophet, you are cleared for attack pattern Delta 7. Crying Freeman, Initiate your surprise package deployment. Golden Retriever, please begin showing these nice folks why we named you after Earth's most persistent hunting breed. The human fleet spread out like a deadly net. Ships that had looked identical began revealing their true purposes. Some were indeed armed freighters, bristling with hidden weapons. Others were troop transports, already launching boarding pods toward coalition vessels. Still others were electronic warfare platforms, jamming communications and disrupting targeting systems. "This is impossible," Korthvel repeated, though his voice now carried a note of panic. "How did our intelligence miss this? How do we not know?" "Because," came another voice from the human fleet, "you have been fighting our military this whole time. You defeated our professional soldiers, our career officers, our dedicated warriors. Congratulations on that, by the way. They put up quite a fight." A new face appeared on screen, this one belonging to a heavy-set man with calloused hands and oil stains on his coveralls. "I'm Jake Morrison, captain of the mining vessel Rock Crusher. Been hauling, or for 30 years, seen every kind of pirate, raider, and hostile alien you can imagine. We civilian captains? We don't fight fair. We don't follow rules of engagement. We don't worry about collateral damage or prisoner rights or any of that honorable warfare nonsense." Morrison's ship, which had looked like a standard or hauler moments before, was now carving through coalition destroyers with industrial mining lasers that had been modified far beyond legal specifications. "You wanted to fight humans." Morrison continued, his vessel reducing another enemy ship to glowing slag. "Well, congratulations. You beat our best and brightest, our trained professionals, our military elite. Now you get to fight our truckers, our miners, our shop owners, our accountants, our soccer moms, and our retirees." The tide of battle was turning with shocking speed. Coalition ships, designed to fight conventional military forces, found themselves overwhelmed by unconventional tactics. Freighters rammed damaged vessels while their crews evacuated through hidden teleporter systems. Passenger liners launched what appeared to be escape pods that turned out to be guided missiles. Mining ships used their industrial equipment to literally tear enemy vessels apart. "Sir," Captain Zur9 said quietly, "perhaps we should consider withdrawal." "Withdrawal?" Korthvel's voice cracked. "From civilian vessels? From space truckers and tour guides?" "Sir, with respect, these are not ordinary civilians. This is a civilian fleet that's been preparing for this moment for decades. Every ship captain who's ever been attacked by pirates, every merchant who's lost cargo to raiders, every transport pilot who's seen friends killed by hostile aliens. They are all here, and they are all very, very angry." Captain Wang's voice cut through the chaos of battle. "Admiral Korthvel, I believe you wanted to send a message to the galaxy about what happens when someone challenges the coalition. Well, we humans have a message of our own." Her ship, the Honest Prophet, had somehow moved to within point-blank range of the massive dreadnought Worldbreaker. Impossible as it seemed, the civilian freighter was now matching pace with the coalition flagship, its hull bristling with weapons that definitely hadn't been there an hour ago. "Our message is simple," Wang continued. "You can kill our soldiers, destroy our military, even burn our homeworld. But you cannot defeat a species where every single ship in space is potentially a weapon of war, where every civilian captain is a veteran of a dozen conflicts, where every merchant vessel is designed from the ground up to fight and win." The Worldbreaker's weapons were firing at point-blank range, but somehow the human freighter's shields were holding. More impossibly, return fire from the Honest Prophet was actually penetrating the dreadnought's armor. "You made one critical error," Wang said, her image flickering as explosions rocked both ships. "You assumed that because we separated military and civilian roles, we separated military and civilian capabilities. You thought that defeating our Navy meant defeating our will to fight." Morrison's voice joined in from his mining ship. "What you didn't realize is that humans don't have civilians. We have citizens. And every citizen of Earth is a potential soldier. Every merchant ship is a potential warship. Every freighter captain is a potential admiral." The coalition fleet was in full retreat now. Their carefully planned victory celebration turned into a desperate flight for survival. Ships that had been cheering the destruction of Earth were now fleeing in panic from converted merchant vessels. This isn't over. Korthvel screamed as his flagship's systems failed around him. The Coalition will return. We will bring more ships, better weapons, stronger defenses. Captain Wang's image smiled one last time before static filled the screen. Admiral, you're welcome to try. But remember, you just fought our cargo haulers and/or miners. Wait until you meet our passenger liner captains. Those folks deal with drunk tourists and screaming children for a living. The transmission cut off just as the Worldbreaker's main reactor went critical. Admiral Korthvel had just enough time to realize that his perfect victory had become perfect defeat before his flagship joined the growing debris field that had once been the Coalition's finest fleet. In the distance, more human ships were arriving. Not the converted civilian vessels that had just won an impossible victory, but actual military craft, sleek and deadly and hungry for revenge. The real counterattack was just beginning, and somewhere in the void, Captain Lisa Wang was already calculating the fuel cost for her next cargo run, because freight still needed to be delivered, even in the middle of a war point 3 days after what historians would later call the Merchant Marine Massacre. Admiral Korthvel found himself in the most humiliating position of his military career. Floating in an escape pod, surrounded by the debris of his once mighty fleet, broadcasting desperate distress signals to anyone willing to listen. This is Admiral Korthvel of the Galactic Coalition, requesting immediate assistance. He repeated for the 100th time. My fleet has been, he couldn't bring himself to say it. Destroyed by civilian cargo haulers? Obliterated by space truckers? The very words seemed to mock him. His rescue came not from Coalition forces, but from an unexpected source. A human passenger liner, the Starlight Express, pulled alongside his pod with almost insulting ease. Well, what do we have here? The voice belonged to Captain Maria Santos, whose ship bore the cheerful paint scheme of a luxury cruise vessel. Looks like someone's having a bad day. Korthvel's mandibles clicked nervously. Are you going to kill me? Santos laughed, a sound that somehow managed to be both warm and terrifying. Kill you? Admiral, I run vacation cruises for families with small children. Do you have any idea how much harder that is than space combat? The rescue was efficient and professional. Within minutes, Korthvel found himself in the liner's medical bay, being treated by a human doctor who hummed cheerfully while bandaging the Admiral's wounds. I don't understand, Korthvel muttered. We studied human military doctrine for years. We knew your fleet compositions, your tactical preferences, your strategic capabilities. How did we miss an entire shadow navy? Dr. Rebecca Kim, still humming what sounded like a children's song, paused in her work. Shadow navy? Oh, honey, that wasn't a shadow navy. That was just Tuesday. Tuesday. You attacked on a Tuesday, Captain Santos explained, entering the medical bay with a steaming cup of something that smelled suspiciously pleasant. Most of our cargo fleet was off shift. If you'd attacked on a Monday, you would have faced the full merchant marine. Fridays? That's when the party cruise ships get involved. Trust me, you don't want to see what happens when you interrupt someone's vacation. The Admiral's 4 eyes widened in horror. That wasn't your full strength? Full strength. Dr. Kim resumed her work, chuckling softly. Admiral, you fought maybe 12% of our civilian shipping. The rest were either making deliveries, taking shore leave, or stuck in traffic at the Proxima Centauri trade hub. Santos sipped her drink. Speaking of which, they are probably pretty annoyed about the delays your little attack caused. Freight schedules are sacred to merchant captains. Mess with someone's delivery timeline, and they take it personally. Through the medical bay's windows, Korthvel could see space filling with more human vessels. Not the converted freighters from the battle, but ships he'd never seen before. Massive construction vessels with industrial arms that could probably tear apart a battleship. Hospital ships whose medical lasers could be repurposed for considerably less healing activities. Even what appeared to be garbage collection barges, though their waste processing systems looked suspiciously like matter disintegrators. This is impossible, he whispered. No species militarizes their entire civilian infrastructure. It's economically unfeasible. It's logistically nightmarish. It's human. Dr. Kim finished cheerfully. You see, Admiral, most species develop military and civilian sectors separately. Once, we learned early on that the universe is a very unfriendly place. Every human ship, from the smallest personal transport to the largest cargo hauler, is built with one simple assumption, which is that someday someone's going to try to kill everyone on board, Captain Santos said matter-of-factly. So we make sure our ships can fight back. Every civilian vessel has defensive capabilities. Every merchant captain knows basic combat tactics. Every freight run is potentially a military operation. The communications system crackled to life. Starlight Express. This is Admiral Patricia Chun aboard the UES Determination. Please report your status. Santos activated the comm unit. All good here, Admiral. We have picked up a coalition survivor. One Admiral Korthvel, the fellow who thought it would be fun to attack Earth. There was a pause, then what sounded suspiciously like laughter. Ah, the genius who decided to pick a fight with our delivery drivers. Bring him to the Determination. High Command wants to have a chat. The transfer to the human military vessel was educational. Korthvel had expected a standard warship, all gray corridors and harsh lighting. Instead, the Determination felt more like a mobile city. Children played in parks built into the ship's superstructure. Civilians worked alongside military personnel. There were shops, restaurants, even what appeared to be a small zoo. This is your military vessel, he asked Captain Santos as they walked through a corridor lined with what looked like family photos. Oh, this old thing? The Determination is a colony ship that got pressed into military service when the war started. Most of our warships are converted civilian vessels, just like most of our civilian ships have military capabilities. Admiral Chun met them in what should have been a war room, but looked more like a community center. A tall woman with graying hair and kind eyes, she offered Korthvel a chair and what appeared to be coffee. Admiral Korthvel, she said conversationally, I have to ask, what were you thinking? We defeated your military forces. Earth's defenses were crushed. Your navy was scattered. Logic dictated that. Logic? Chun raised an eyebrow. Admiral, did your intelligence services ever actually study human history? Of course. We analyze your military conflicts, your technological development, your expansion patterns, but did you study our culture, our mindset, the way we approach problems? Korthvel remained silent. Chun activated a holographic display showing Earth's history. Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. Not just military conflicts, but survival itself. Every human alive today is descended from people who fought off predators, survived natural disasters, conquered hostile environments, and adapted to impossible circumstances. Images flashed across the display. Humans crossing frozen wastelands, building cities in deserts, taming wild animals, sailing across vast oceans in primitive boats. We don't have a warrior class, Admiral. We are a warrior species. Every farmer knows how to defend their land. Every merchant knows how to protect their goods. Every parent knows how to fight for their children. The display shifted to show human expansion across the galaxy. When we went to space, we didn't leave that mindset behind. Every colony ship was also a potential warship. Every trade route was also a military supply line. Every civilian captain was also a reserve officer. Captain Santos nodded. It's not deception, Admiral. It's preparation. In a universe full of hostile aliens, pirates, and natural disasters, every human ship needs to be ready for anything. But the cost? Korthvel protested. The resources required to militarize an entire civilian fleet are nothing compared to the cost of losing everything, Chun replied quietly. Admiral, your coalition represents dozens of species, each with their specialized roles. Military species handle warfare. Trading species handle commerce. Each group stays in their lane. She leaned forward. Humans can't afford that luxury. We are one species, alone in a hostile galaxy. We have to be our own military, our own merchants, our own explorers, our own defenders. So we build a civilization where every component can serve multiple purposes. The holographic display now showed the recent battle from multiple angles. Korthvel watched in fascination and horror as civilian ships revealed their hidden capabilities. The freighter captain who destroyed your cruiser squadron. Chun pointed to one vessel. Jake Morrison, 30 years hauling ore. He's fought off pirates, raiders, and hostile fauna on a dozen worlds. His ship's mining lasers have been upgraded and modified after every encounter. Another ship appeared on screen. The passenger liner that broke through your defensive line? Captain Emma Rodriguez runs luxury tours to dangerous systems. Her clients expect to see dangerous wildlife, hostile environments, and exotic phenomena safely. Her ship has defensive systems that would make a military escort jealous. Korthvel watched the battle footage with growing understanding and dread. These weren't civilians who'd been given military equipment. These were veterans who disguised military vessels as civilian craft. Every human ship captain has stories, Santos added. Pirate attacks, equipment failures in hostile space, rescue missions in dangerous systems. We don't separate civilian and military experience because we can't afford to. The universe is too dangerous. But now what? Korthvel asked. Your fleet defeated mine, but the Coalition has thousands of worlds, millions of ships. This war is far from over. Admiral Chun smiled, and for the first time, Korthvel saw something truly frightening in her expression. Admiral, you attacked our homeworld. You killed our military. You thought you'd won. But all you really did was eliminate the people who were holding us back. Holding you back. Our professional military follows rules of engagement. They worry about civilian casualties, prisoner rights, proportional response. They fight honorable wars. Chen's smile grew colder. You just eliminated all of that restraint. The holographic display shifted to show the current disposition of human forces. Thousands upon thousands of ships, all civilian registered, all armed to the teeth, all converging on Coalition space. Our merchant marine doesn't follow military protocols. Our freight captains don't worry about collateral damage. Our passenger liner operators don't take prisoners. You wanted to fight humans? Congratulations. Now you get to fight all of us with the gloves off. Captain Santos checked her chronometer. Speaking of which, we should probably get back to the Starlight Express. I have got 300 passengers who paid for a scenic tour of former Coalition territory. They are expecting entertainment. As they prepared to leave, Admiral Chun handed Korthvel a datapad. Your surrender terms. Standard Coalition protocol. Very reasonable. Prison camps, eventual repatriation, that sort of thing. Surrender terms for your surviving forces. We intercepted Coalition communications. Your remaining fleets are retreating in panic, spreading word that humanity has some kind of secret superweapon. They are not wrong. Exactly. What superweapon? Chen's smile was almost maternal. Economic necessity, Admiral. The same force that drove humans to adapt, survive, and thrive in every hostile environment we have ever encountered. You can defeat a military, Admiral. You can conquer a government. But you cannot defeat a species where every individual is prepared to fight, where every tool is a potential weapon, where every civilian is a potential soldier. As Korthvel was escorted back to the Starlight Express, he could see the truth of those words everywhere. Human ships filled space as far as sensors could detect. Freighters, liners, mining vessels, construction barges, research ships, even what appeared to be food service vehicles. All armed, all crewed by people who'd spent their lives dealing with hostile environments and dangerous situations. The Coalition had planned to fight a war against humanity's military. Instead, they'd started a war against humanity itself. And as Admiral Korthvel watched more ships arrive every hour, he began to understand that this was a war they could never win. Because when every human was a warrior, when every ship was a weapon, when every civilian was ready to fight and die for their species, defeat became impossible. The Coalition could destroy human worlds, shatter human fleets, even burn human cities. But they could never defeat the human spirit that turned every merchant into a soldier, every journey into a mission, every civilian vessel into an instrument of war. The Starlight Express resumed its course, carrying its passenger load of excited tourists eager to see the aftermath of humanity's latest victory. And somewhere in the cargo hold, Admiral Korthvel began composing his final report to Coalition High Command, trying to find words to explain how they'd managed to lose a war to the galaxy's most dangerous tourist guides.